Hi all, welcome back to another stream on the Final Whistle. Have we calmed down from Sheffield United? Has it been a great year so far for Leicester City? Has it fuck? We're going to have fun this season, boys, as one player said, and it's been fucking shit and everything else to go with it, I'll be honest. I'm drinking a Monster. I probably need a bit more stronger drink for this one because there's a lot you want to get off your chest. Yesterday's performance at Bramall Lane. How many times can we keep performing like that with these same players who are on Champions League wages and just don't seem to give a toss, if I'm honest? We've got a manager who's well out of his depth. We've got a board who are very much non-existent. The decision making, there's just no control, just nothing about the club, I'll be honest. And then we've got blue on blue in the away end, and this is how far we've come as a football club, to be honest, in the mess that we're in. It's a little mess that's gone far bigger due to the amount of poor decisions and that, and how things have gone as a football club in the decline we've gone on, because it's been a real slippery slope that just seems to be going on. Everyone get involved. Let me know. We're going to discuss everything. Sheffield United, Leicester City's current situation, and can it be fixed? Well, at least as fans, we hope so, but I don't know. It's dire times. Imran, how are we?
Yeah, not bad. Feeling a bit cold, but other than that, yeah, Happy New Year to everyone. Started the same as last year, didn't it?
Yeah, very much so. Dan, how are we?
Well, like I say, wasn't too bad until yesterday at about 6:30, and it's just, like I say, it just seems to have gone bad from bad to worse with it. As we said, unfortunately, I hope this is not starting as we mean to go on, because it's not very good, is it? So what do you say to it?
Where do we start? Where do you want to start? Should we get Sheffield United out of the way first?
Yeah, that's it.
Right, go on then, Imran. Let's talk about it. 3-1 defeat at Bramall Lane. It was absolutely horrendous. The team didn't turn up at all, even though the team bus were there, Imran.
Yeah.
Talk to me about it, Imran. It's not.
Look, you were sitting, I think, just behind me. I think 5-10 seats behind me. Yeah. We had a similar view. So you saw how poor our left back was yesterday. I don't think it's all his fault still. He's poor. We know he's poor. But I want to get on one player right now, is Mavadidi. Offers nothing. Even though he's there to help defend. Never puts in a challenge. I never see him help Thomas out. Thomas is whack anyway. He knows that. So he should be thinking, let me put a challenge in. And that corner that they scored from, the first corner they scored from, it's all on Mavadidi. He had 3 opportunities to clear the ball. And Didi fuck. He didn't do nothing with it. And we conceded that first goal. Sheffield United deserved it. Even before then, I think they had one shot. Bamford had a right footer, which I don't know what Stolarczyk did with it. He could have caught it.
Hold it and put it past his own keeper.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Stolarczyk should have caught it. So everything was nervous, right? Like, we couldn't keep hold of the ball. I think we put 4 passes together in one piece of play, and that's about it. Can't keep the ball. Midfield was non-existent. And I think I said this on the other channel as well. I think we've got a very small team. We're full of pygmies. If you look at our team, we've got...
don't want to give it the role.
No, but they're very small as well, aren't they? So when there's a physical battle going on, we're not going to win it because we can't handle it. No, we've got, like I said, all Oompa Loompas across the field, and we've got to get stronger players in. Okoli and Nelson are our 2 big players. and even they're not that strong, right? Let's be honest. So I think physically and mentally, we're just lacking all over the pitch. And then I don't want to start on the manager, but I don't like him anyway. But
He's not good enough.
yeah, he ain't got a clue, right? Like
He ain't got the balls to get to be quite frank with that team. He hasn't. And
look, maybe it's my age. I don't know, but back in the day, a manager would get you in the dressing room and give you a good old rollicking after a half like that. Yeah. Nigel Pearson, they'd give you a good rollicking, right? Martin O'Neill. Maybe players don't respond to rollickings now. That's why you can't do it to these players. I don't know, but I think the skill of management is all down to the manager, right? He needs to somehow put fire in their bellies. I don't see no fire at all. Sheffield United came out that whole game and they dominated from start to finish. Won the second balls, won the first balls, won the 50-50s. They were physical, they were strong, they played direct. I'm famous for saying get it forward. They got it forward. We didn't do none of that. And Sheffield United thoroughly deserved that win, and we got our just desserts.
Dan, I mean, the team that he did put out, Ricardo was obviously going to come back in for Hamza, we know. Silko Thomas, it didn't work out for him, but you can't put pressure on him to perform if these other players aren't. First 25 minutes in the game, it were all Sheffield United. It just every time the ball kept coming into the box, when we did clear it, right back at them, and when we did get it forward, we were offside, basically. And that summed us up, every time they'd aim down that right-hand side where Mavdidi and obviously Luke Thomas is, and it's just non-existent. And then you always knew that they'd score at some point, and I always said in that first half, that should have been more than one goal, because they had chance after chance after chance, and we kept allowing it the same thing. Players weren't communicating, there were no chat, we'd lose the ball too easy. And Sheffield United was aggressive. They got in our faces like many teams have this season, and they've seen us off. And we just haven't got the balls, Dan, to step up against these teams. We just look like we've got bang average players who are just not putting in the performances. I mean, you've seen Skipper in the performances the last few weeks, Jordan James, players who have come off the bench in the young lads, but all the others who are the so-called experienced players, where are they? They've all gone hiding. I don't even think we've not even got a leader, Dan, who can lead this team. No,
we've got nothing like that. I mean, I'm not being funny, Jack, but how many times do we do our match previews with the opposition and we say, basically, if you get at us within the first 5 minutes and you get down your right-hand side, our left-hand side, you'll be in. And week after week after week does it happen. And it's that obvious now, and this is the issue with Marti, is that it's become that obvious now, and he's done nothing at all to negate it. He doesn't strengthen that side. He's not sort of doubling up on that side to protect us a bit, anything like that. As a manager would do, or like I say, take the issue out. But he's not. It's just consistent with playing him time after time. It is a little bit. It's like kicking a puppy around the ground at the minute with Luke Thomas.
Didn't make 3 passes in the first 25 minutes. That sums us up.
Well, yeah, but we don't do anything. We have no control. We claim to be this passing, tick-a-tacker football style.
Well, we don't play that Pep Guardiola, according to Marti. We play that more like Accrington fucking Stanley.
Yeah, well, we're not even as good as that, to be fair to Accrington.
I mean, I called us yesterday, bloody prime Salford City.
Well, the other issue that we have, and again, I felt for Silko because
he's been thrown at the deep end.
Isn't to hold off a centre half, be strong, physical, take it in, allow play to catch up with you. He's firstly, he's a winger for a start, so you've got to feel sorry for him for that. But secondly, his role is getting in behind. And all right, on 2-3 occasions he was offside. One, he was a little bit unlucky because he was on. He had his back to the centre halves who had left him, so he didn't really see where they were. But a couple of others he could have done a bit better. But he's a young kid, so he's still learning this level of football. I say it time after time. when we jump up and down about with the kids, we've got to be careful of how many we do, because it's very, very different from under 23s to senior football. You know, you are allowed to play at that level, whereas this we're not. And again, we're immediately put under pressure. As Imran said, you know, the second the ball was played into JJ or into Skip, they're on us.
Bang, honest.
Straight through the back of us. And we're too far away and half asleep. So when the ball runs loose from that original tackle from them from behind, we're going, oh, well, what's happened there? Why have they done that to us? Why aren't we allowed just to tap it into him and him spray it out to the fullback and then down the line and then back in and then come back to the centre half? Why are they not letting us do that? You know, they're not absolutely perplexed by it. And you're just like, are you for real or what? You know.
I tell you what I did find yesterday. They looked unfit. Every time we ran after Sheffield United, they'd leave us running like we were making them look like Usain Bolt running forward, and we were just left behind in the race.
Yeah, I mean, that should never be a fitness issue at this point of the season.
Or even first 20 minutes.
It's just
we haven't played half a game yet, and you're already knackered.
I can't be arsed.
That's what it is. Half-assed performance.
It's not a fitness issue.
I can't be arsed. Get the fans to pay the money.
No, but you got to ask the question, right? What are they doing down at Seagrave? Like, we've got a state-of-the-art facility, right? Yeah. What are they doing? Like, we should be the fittest team in the league with those facilities. But maybe it softened them up. The
tossing about in a swimming pool half the time.
That training ground, since we've moved to that training ground, it's been a massive issue. They don't have to work for anything anymore. They don't have to work hard to get these rewards in, round. They're too busy getting fucking pampered, massages, golf course, the hell of a lot. They think, you know what, we'll perform on camera to make the fans look like we actually care. And then you get to match days and you think, well, what did the team do? And what we seen on
Yeah, but look, Jack, at the end of the day, right, the bigger teams have good training grounds as well, and they perform.
Yeah.
So there's something seriously wrong. Like I said, that's why I'm not after the manager, but I'm questioning him big time, right? Because you have to make sure. Like Enzo had the same issue as well, right? He had a training ground, right? He got us playing, right? Okay, we had KDH. Yeah, but we had KDH, Vardy, Ndidi, you know, big players like that. Obviously, we don't have those players at our disposal anymore. But even then, right, we've still got Mavadidi. He scored 15 goals or something like that last in the championship season, was it? 12, 15 goals?
Yeah.
Fatawu was banging in goals, assists. He's still doing it this season, to be fair, but it's in spurts rather than good performances. You know, he's just people have worked him out, kind of, right? But he still gets his assists and goals. But Mavadidi has to look at himself and say, I have to be the player here that causes a little bit of problems for the opposition, and he's not doing it.
No.
And then compound it all. We don't have a striker, right? We just don't have somebody.
That's the biggest issue.
Yeah.
We have no outlet, you know. No. We have no outlet. So every time we whack a ball forward, it comes straight back. Because that's it. Well, we don't play to whoever we play up top. We don't play to their strengths. You know, whether it's Ayew, Silko, Carranza, Daka, whoever it is, we don't play to their strengths. Yeah.
But even if you look at our strikers, right? If you look at Ayew, right, when he was starting, how many chances does he get, Jack, in a game? Hardly gets a chance, right? I don't see him get a chance. He might have a good shot
because he plays as a number 6, Imran.
No, but okay, but even Daka, when Daka plays, does he get chances? He doesn't. He don't get chances.
We don't get in the box enough, do we? We're too busy having chances at our goal.
So that's why I'm looking at the manager, right? That we're not creating enough chances. And if you look at D. Cordova-Reid, right, he scored a lot of goals recently for us. He scored 5-6 goals. But if you look at all his goals, they've all been instinctive, where he's not had to think about it. He just hits it and it goes in, right? And that's what Daka is. That's what Ayew is. They'll hit it in instinct. So why don't we play quicker? Why are we slowing the game down? Why are we passing it around the back, letting the opposition set in to their, you know, their structure, what they want to play, and then we try to pass it around. Play quicker, play through the lines, play it down the wings, beat your man. Tell Mavadidi, don't cut inside. Just keep trying to beat him down the wing. Get chalk on your feet, you know, like in the olden days. Mm-hmm. Same as Fatawu. Get down the wing, get a ball in the box, and tell the midfield to flood the box. But we play so slowly, right? And the opposition are waiting for us. They're waiting that we'll press them, we'll win the ball back, and then we can pounce on them quicker. And that's what's been happening, both away games and at the King Power. That's what's been happening. We just seem so easy to play through.
Yeah, well, we are, because that's the way that certain people think that football should be played now. And unfortunately, the Championship, you don't have the sides and the player quality to do that sort of thing. So we're stuck of where we should be playing and adjusting and adapting to the league that we're currently in. And as well with some people's mentality with it, because as I say, you know, the likes of Winks, that's why he's fallen out with the club on several occasions now, because he thinks everything should be played through him. He should be given the you know, basically the keys to the city to do exactly what the hell he wants. Yeah. You don't get that. You don't get that.
It's everything though, Jack. Even the goal kicks, right? Like if you look at the first half, right? If you look at Jakob's goal kicks, everything's got backspin on it. Why is he backspinning a goal kick? I don't understand. Like every time, and then they're on the side. Then second half, when obviously the Sheffield United goalkeeper was in front of us, you see his goal kicks. They were like arrows, like boom, straight into the heart of our defense. Yeah. Right. So you have to play direct. You have to get it forward quicker. You know. So. Just one of those things.
The first goal they score, it's horrendous defending from the corner.
Zonal marking. Yeah.
I said it. This zonal marking's a load of bollocks. It really is. The way they're set up from corners. I said to some fan in front of me, I said, who the fuck is marking Tanganga? I said,
it was JJ. He got shrugged off.
Go and get a Coley to go and get him, because he's the biggest man on the pitch. So you go mow man for man here with your biggest player on the biggest player and the smallest on the smallest. Work it that way. But what the Leicester do, it's all right. Luke Thomas jumps up against him and then he scores.
No, it weren't Luke Thomas, unfortunately.
It was when he headed his team.
It was the main man. He got shrugged out the way out of a bit more determination from 10.
Doing nothing. There was no determination to defend that corner. It was just
I mean, the thing is yes, he was able to have a bit of a free run after he'd pushed JJ out the way. But I would still expect one of either a Coley or Nelson to have gone and attacked the ball.
You know,
it was on the edge of the 6-yard box. Well, I mean, I would even go as far as to say as Jakob should have just come and punched it away, punched it the way it was going. You know, he has a lot to answer for still.
Don't get me started on that. Then every time he comes and collects it, he ends up with nothing, mate.
Yeah, I don't care how many people you think are in your way. Like we've spoken in recent weeks, you know,
you don't demand his area at all.
As a goalkeeper, you come and you take the lot out, because you're not going to get punished for it. You're just not, unless you blatantly punch somebody in the face, and even then you get away with it as a goalkeeper. You know, he should be, like I say, he should be coming out, studs up, knee up, fist out, the whole lot, and clean the lot out. Whether it's our own players or not, whoever's in the way, you take the lot out and you punch the ball clear if you know you're not going to be able to claim and keep hold of it. You know, but he done some bizarre stuff last night. Like you say, there was 2 shots where were just comfortable catches, and he'd done this weird punching thing that, like I say, one of them nearly went in the back of the net because of it. You know, and it went out for a corner. But
it's bad. You know, proved it when we only had no shot on target in the first half, and I think we only had one shot in that first half.
And that was like well wide.
He needs to stop trying them from distance. I'm sick of it. Just have the pass the ball.
But I think he's frustrated, Jack. He's so frustrated, right? Like he's just thinking, let me just have a shot here. I might go in, because it's just to relieve the pressure, right? Because we're just not in control of any games. I know Abdul didn't have a great game yesterday. He was shooting from all over the place, not passing properly. But it's just frustration, because he thinks it's all on him, when really, like I keep saying, Mavadidi should be helping him out on the other side.
He should be stepping up.
The other thing with Abdul,
when he step overs and going backwards,
was his. The other thing with Abdul yesterday was his dive. That was pathetic. You know, you're saying about giving us a relief, and he'd beat the 2 players, had the chance to run into space to get us somewhere, and chucks himself on the floor in a manner that he just really didn't need.
I didn't see that properly because it was on the other side of the pitch where we were.
It was poor. It was poor form. That was. There was just absolutely no need for it whatsoever. I don't even know what his thought process was, because not only that, it was too high up our end of the field still, although it was just in their half. To have benefited in any way, you know, he would have been better just carrying on going down that line, and then whether it's whipping a ball in, cutting in, whatever it is that he wants to do, only he knows that at times. That's the beauty of having him. But yeah, and he'd done it a couple of times as well yesterday, where you're just like, mate, honestly, what are you doing? You've just been brushed and you've gone down as if you've been shot, or like I say, or not at all, and he deserved his yellow card. He was lucky actually not to have been sent off, but for a couple of his rashish challenges that he makes. I know his heart's in the right place when he's trying to make these challenges, but they're just a bit late, and as we would say, a forwards challenge.
Yeah. So, Jack, what's your feelings about just the whole situation? Like what happened in the crowd yesterday? It wasn't a great atmosphere. There weren't much. The chanting that did go on wasn't great, but there wasn't much chanting anyway, was there? We just couldn't sing, right? Because it was the team didn't give us anything. It didn't give us anything to sing about.
The thing is, the game were absolutely dire from start to finish. It were crap. The players, there were no fights.
The best thing about yesterday was the food in Sheffield.
Yeah, exactly. I went to Mr. T's and someone said, pity the fool. And I said, pity the bloody fool. I'm going to go and watch this again in a minute. So I better not leave here too quickly because I know
that's some great options, right? I was like stuck where to go. There was like so many good places.
That's probably is the best thing about when you go to different places, the food that you see and taste it, it's nice. But then the atmosphere itself, fans are tired. They're sick and tired of watching the same bollocks every week from these so-called professional footballers. These so-called wins that we keep getting, these papering over the cracks wins is what I like to call them. And this is what the club have become. We're so easy to play against. We're so predictable. Teams run through us because they're a lot more physical, a lot more up for it. There's desire, there's passion from other teams. We have none of that. No game management. And there were nothing to say,
and we also keep going down.
We keep
going down like 3-0. Every time we're down like 3-0. It's not normal. It's not normal football, right? Where your team is down.
That's why I was surprised we held out for 45 minutes almost.
They should have had about 3 or 4 in the first half. And then second half, it were even more dire when it got worse for wear. Tom Cannon scored within 7 minutes of the second half, did he? Let's talk about that second goal, actually, because that is fucking criminal defending by Lou Thomas. And I will call it out for what it is. That is shit. His positioning, he gets done it over his head, and then he comes back to get in front of the defender, and it's just half-arsed defending. I'm sorry. It is shocking. It's dreadful. And then the ball comes in. Tom Cannon's there to capitalise. Leicester are just there like musical statues, just stood and watched, and they scored again.
Yeah.
And you always knew Tom Cannon would score again yesterday because we're probably the only team that he scored more goals against this season, par any of the other teams, which is too easy. And then the third goal again, easy down that right-hand side, 1-2 play. Luke Thomas is ball watching. He gets beat with a 1-2, and then Sheffield United score again with Callum O'Hare. Leicester stood and just watched it. It's embarrassing. There's no desire to get a challenge in Imran. There's just no fight from this team. The game management from the manager absolutely stinks. It's crap. I don't understand it. I said to a friend yesterday, you're watching the manager on the touchline. He's standing there with his arms folded and huffing and puffing, and then goes and sits down. He doesn't know how to change it. When there's one game plan from Marti, that's it. And as soon as that goes out the window, it's finished. The storm is there.
And look, we have to call it out for what it is, right? Football is an easy game, Jack. It's not a difficult game, right? It's all about the basics. We're not doing the basics, so I have to blame the manager, right? Because if your players aren't coming out and not, we call it pressing, right? But I call it closing down. If you can't close down your opposition, right, and just put in a tackle, win your 50-50s, show a bit of heart, show a bit of desire, put in a few tackles. We're not doing any of that. They're the basics, right? Forget your style of play and all of this good stuff. Like we talk about inverted right backs and, one up front and all the formation. Forget all of that.
There's no commitment from this team.
Number one thing is the players need to come out and show a bit of fight. Like, go and fight for the shirt. And there's none of that.
On social media around these players.
Yeah.
Again, I want to bring this up to you. get your popcorn ready. We're gonna have a fun season. Well,
you can't even spell season.
It's more like a bloody dated popcorn. It's a story. It's a cinema that we've watched so many times this season with the same film. It's the same. When we concede that first goal, we crumble. Yeah. There's no custard to add to that crumble because it isn't tasting good. It tastes like shit, basically. And this is what I said to Dan. Dan said to me today, there's 4 worst teams in Leicester. And I said, you look at them teams that we've played. I said, Sheffield Wednesday, you're expecting them to be in the position that we are. But then we're barely playing like how Sheffield Wednesday, they thought Sheffield Wednesday would play. And you had Sheffield United fans saying, are you Wednesday in disguise? And it sums us up because I think we're second worst team than Sheffield Wednesday in the league, and the stats back it up.
Yeah, I think when it comes to performance-wise and chance creation, I think we are the second worst team in the league.
We don't create nothing.
No, we don't create anything. I don't like. We just had that debate now about our strikers and our wingers. We don't get any chances. We don't. Yeah. I don't see a one-on-one or a clear header or any good chances that we make. We're hoping, and the chances, to be fair, we're quite potent when it does come to the goals, because yesterday we had 1 shot on goal and we scored from it.
Yeah.
Same in the Derby game. I think we had 3 shots the whole game. We scored 2. So our percentages are good, but we're just not getting enough shots away.
I'll tell you what, Dean, it's depressing. It is. People go to football for a way out, basically, for what some of the problems we do suffer within life and mental health and that. We go to, to think, what, we're going to go and watch our team. We'll enjoy this, a bit of entertainment and a weekend. I ain't seeing that, mate. I sit and bloody puff my cheeks in these games because I'm just sitting there like, well, this ain't what I expected. This ain't, when you pay good money in Rand, and obviously, we go most weeks, don't we? Home and away, follow the team through the miles, and we're the only ones who make the effort. These players don't step up. They talk too much on social media. I'm sick and tired of it. I think Abdul's going to put another post out today, and I don't care what you say in words. I want action from these players. And what frustrates me is you got the manager coming out with the same thing every week. Oh, I'm sorry, the fans, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I'm fed up of you saying sorry. It doesn't mean anything. You're just telling me the same PR that they're feeding you every time.
Yeah, but it's also, he's being quite cryptic now as well. Like, he's telling us stuff like, I can't tell you stuff. There's some things that are happening.
You know what it tells me? They know what the points deduction's coming. And I think it could very much be worse than what they expected. It could be very much now a January transfer window where we don't sell anybody and lose quite a few players. And Abdul could be very much one of them out the door.
Yeah.
That's what it tells me between the lines. I think his hands are tied altogether. He's been trying to put little bits in. And I said it to my mate at Derby because he spoke to him. And he said he's basically, his hands are tied. He's basically got that from it. Well, his body language, he can't do anything. And this is the situation we've got ourselves in, lads, where you're thinking to yourself, because we've done so much decline, we've got ourselves in such a mess. This mess can't be fixed unless these people who run the club actually take control and some accountability for these mistakes and that, and start doing things that we want them to do. And it's just, when did he do this interview? 2 months ago, right? Imran's?
Yeah.
And what's he done since? Where's he been?
Nothing.
I want to see him take control. I really do. And I don't. But it hurts that your club's in a situation that it is, and it's not easy as a fan to go to games and see your team get battered.
Look, and I need to go in a bit, Jack, but even what happened yesterday in the crowd and stuff, I just want to make it clear to all Leicester fans, right? Like, we're all one, right? We all love the club. The younger fans, we all have different opinions, so let's respect each other. It's a sad state of affairs. Yeah, things have to change. Of course, they have to change. But the younger fans need to understand that. Look, I'm for respecting the elder fans, right? Because they've been there through thick and thin.
Yeah.
There are ways, like, the Thailand chants and all that good stuff. I'm not for that. It's not for me. F off home and all that good stuff. There's some racial tones to that as well, which shouldn't be said in a football ground. So just everyone needs to just calm down a little bit. There are ways to protest. There are ways to make your feelings known, but we have to keep it civil and not go to violence, right? So just wanted to put that out there as well.
I appreciate it. Have you got a head off, Imran?
Yeah, I've got to head off, mate. Got to sort the kids out. But look, Jack, I'll be on next time, mate, for sure. But
yes,
look, I'm still trying to be positive. You know me, trying to be positive all the time. My positivity this season now is do not get relegated. We can't. Survival is success. All right. You just got to make sure we survive this season, and then we start afresh next season. Just ride through this season, chill out, enjoy 2026 until the summer. We do a rebuild, and then we kick off next season with optimism and hopefully prosperity. And that's our new year in the summer, not now. That's our
bloody hope, isn't it? That Christmas miracle we bloody asked for, but will we see it?
And look, and there's always that little bit of hope as well, right? For all Leicester fans, right? Look, if that points deduction doesn't come, right? Because there's still a possibility it might not come. It's most likely it will, but there's also a possibility it won't. Look, we can put in a run of 6-7 games towards the end of the season, and we could still hit the playoffs, right? We could still hold on to that bit of it. It's unlikely, but the hope is still there, right? But the main thing is, most Leicester fans, we just got hope for survival. That's it. And then that promotion playoff piece, maybe hope for it towards the end if you can put a run of fixtures together or run of results together, and hopefully you can squeeze in right at the end. But let's see.
Cheers, Imran.
All right. Take care. Thanks, Dan. Nice meeting you.
No worries. See you later, Imran.
Dan, I mean, I blow my lid because it's the passion that shows as a fan. Where do we really start with it, Dan? I mean, we have covered Sheffield United. It's probably the worst 90 minutes I've ever seen, to be honest. I don't know where we go from here. I honestly don't. The club's in a mess. It's in a real mess from top to bottom, and there's just no talking from the club of what is going on. I would have a lot more people. I think would have a lot more credibility with the club if they came out and said, "This is what it is. We are struggling to do what you want us to meet, and that with the financial side of things and that and different things." How do you sort of stance with it, Dan? Because these players have been doing this for a couple of years now, aren't they? This season, last season. They didn't do it under Enzo, but if you look at the last two, well, this season and last season, these players, what do you say about them, Dan, to be fair? Because they're not going to run the yard. They don't seem bothered. They just stroll around like bloody prima donnas. They go on the floor more times than not because it's just spineless. It really is. And I say about this yesterday, what I picked up, Ricardo. He was angry at full time yesterday, but I want to see that passion in a game. I don't want to see it at full time when it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter to me that full time comes in, you started doing that to the team. You should be doing that as a leader during the game, Ricky P. Going in there at half time and sorting it out and saying, you know what, this ain't good enough. You need to be doing that in the games. And I'm fed up with these players thinking they can bloody pull the wool over the fans' eyes out. So we'll get a clap, and that look like we actually care, boys. Come on, let's go over to the away end and have a look. Piss off. I've had enough. I'm fed up with them and then coming over and thinking, oh yeah, it's worth applauding, isn't it? No, it ain't. You go down the tunnel. Go down the tunnel and take yourself elsewhere because we're not interested. We want to see players that give effort, desire, everything that we know what means everything to the badge, what you put on that shirt. As soon as you pull that shirt on, we want to see you give 100%. And if you're not going to do that, we're not interested in what you've got to do or what you've got to say. It doesn't matter to us. And this ain't the first time we've been shit away from home this season. The Southampton game, the QPR game, Dan. We've took some hammerings when we've lost games. It's just come to the point of we're so easy to play against.
Yeah.
And these players don't care what Ricardo's got to say. They're just like, well, I'm not interested. You seen it in the game, Abdul and Ricardo going at it a few times.
Yeah. Well, this is
it's
you
the
say
mentality.
about where do we start? And unfortunately, whether some people like it or not, it starts at the very top. You know,
It does.
And until we sort that sort of thing out,
People
and
take control and accountability for these problems that we've faced, then that's it. That's where it starts.
Well, again, like I say, we're saying about with Marti being out of his depth within a job. Well, we've let somebody carry on for the last 4 years out of his depth do a job. So we're a club renowned for it because, as you say, we don't have a strong enough guy at the very, very top, with his name included. So until that sort of thing changes,
I want to see him take a lot more control.
Well,
that's what we hope for as fans, but we just don't. We're not seeing it, are we? We're not seeing.
He doesn't have it in him. Yeah, he doesn't have it in him. As I've said, we've said on here time and time again, he doesn't have it in him to do that. So if you don't have it in you to do it, but you've got the finances and you don't want to give certain things up, let people take control who can do it.
The thing is, you've got to be there as the owner through the good and the bad of it. You've got to clearly see what's happening.
Yeah, we have to.
At the football club. Stop listening to what the director of football is reading you and telling you. Stop doing that. Come with your own eyes to games and see what it's like, Top. Come in and say, you know what? I'm going to go and have a look. I'm going to spend as much time over here and come and have a look what it is exactly like because of how bad the club's got. Because when you start seeing the realisation of it, then maybe you'll start thinking, you know what, I need to take control of this. I need to stop this from sinking right now.
Yeah.
This ain't good. But we're not. He's distanced himself away from all these problems. And he's letting people run the club for him over here, like Rudkin and that. And it just isn't. You trust in people who are not capable of doing what you've put them in the position to do.
Absolutely. And I say again, there's lots of things as a club we could have done to have prevented some bits from happening. Like I say, if some of these players that aren't good enough, well, hang on, what's happened there?
What's happened?
I don't know. So it just got off for some reason. I did say before it's playing out.
The reality is, unfortunately, that there are no leaders in this group. They don't look interested. Well, this is the problem. That's the mentality again. It does fall on these posts. But I said to Dan and Steve on a call earlier that Marti complains. He moans. He tells you what you want to basically hear. Sometimes as a fan, he repeats himself more times than not. But the only thing I did say is he knew how bad Leicester City were. He knew that before coming in. He paid his way to come here. He knew how bad it was going to get. And now he's in the situation. He's basically stuck. But
where I was going before I got cut off is some of these players that are on high wages and everything else.
Champions League wages,
As a club, we could have still got rid of them. We could have still terminated their contracts and come into a mutual agreement. Yeah, okay, it would have been costly. But what we would have then been able to have done, as I say, is got these players off the books who are causing issues. And
I agree, Paul.
And got players in on lesser wages, and you may well say lesser ability, but at the same time would have been more of maybe what Marti was looking at, and we could have gone with bits that way, And the other thing we could have done is, again, if we'd had somebody properly in charge, is instead of being stupidly greedy and thinking we should be getting more for certain individuals than we should have got, or that was what was offered, is weighed it up, gone, no, you are no good to us now. You don't perform at those levels. We'll get what we can. Some people might say, well, that's a bit short-sighted. Well, it's not really. It's actually being longer term because we're getting rid of those players that are causing us issues now. and are hurting us on the pitch as well as off it financially.
The thing is, Dan, it'd have made a positive in PSR this year. So say you sold Patson Daka for the price that they was reportedly going to pay when John Percy brought it out. That would have been a positive. Yes, you've lost money from what you paid for him 4 years ago, about 15 million quid. But it's what happens. It's what matters now. Save yourself the bother now, because he can leave in 6 months' time. His contract ends. He can sign a pre-contract now in Saudi or wherever else. Yeah. So you need to save yourself the bother and stop holding on to players that don't want to be here. You need to realize what's happening in front of your eyes. You've got Winks, been nowhere to be seen since Sheffield United game. Wild Fast hasn't played a minute since as well. No. Bouba Samore.
But he's injured, isn't he?
No, he's injured, but
but as a fan, I wouldn't want him playing, because he's just not. He doesn't do it. He's not good enough.
Talking about Samare, Cannon scoring against us home and away was annoying when we sold him. F's sake, never really got a proper chance.
No, never. No, he didn't. Can't disagree with that at all. We've done that many a time. Again, even with the likes of Casey, we let him go. Yes, because we got good money for him. At the end of the day, that's probably more to do with it than anything. But at the same time, would he do as bad a job as what Mavididi is at this current moment in time? No, he wouldn't be. But what I can probably guarantee you is that Casey will be on less money than what Mavididi is. That's for sure. And that's the bits where we've got to be a lot smarter at. Like Tony's saying there, if we get rid of some of these players, the money that you're saving on wages every month, and this, we were saying this in the summer. Sometimes you just have to
We've got the biggest wage in the Championship.
Yeah, just to save yourself from longer term punishment of keeping these basically dead weights wrapped around our neck that are making us drown. And that's the current situation the club has put ourselves in.
This is why we are in a big decline.
Yeah.
In the last few years, and we keep taking loans out to fund these transfers instead of waiting on these weekly payments of what we get for these players. We're taking the loans out to sort of fund other things. And that's a short-term thing. You can't do that long-term. Keep taking loans out and that, because you're going to end up getting yourself in the shit, basically. And you need to have a plan. It just feels like there's no plan. There's no contingency plan and no self-esteem to what your plan is. And this is where we are as fans, Dan, now, in the poor situation the club's in. What is the plan? Where do we go from here? Because... There's many batterings we took this season. I mean, we've took bloody more pummings than bloody Casey Price on a football. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We've took more bloody... We've basically bent over for quite a few teams, isn't it? And we took a few pummings. So it's embarrassing that we just haven't got a team of fighters. You look at the Claudio Ranieri team 10 years ago, by the way. Look how fighting that team was. The Warriors we had in there, Wes Morgan, we had Hove, we had him
not really his team, but I know where you're going.
Yeah, we had fires, right? Yeah. Nigel Pearson laid the foundations, right? He was one who would never mess about. He knew what he wanted and how to get it right. Pearson laid the foundations for what was to come. And you could see that after that, obviously that playoff defeat against Watford. Steve Walsh, Craig Shakespeare, it worked. Every player that Steve Walsh actually went out there, did the actual characteristics on these players and all that, went and spoke to different people about these individuals. That worked a treat. Nowadays, we're just bringing players in for the sake of it. You look at Julian Carranza.
Yeah.
Not even a sniff. It reminds me of the Ed Ward load, except we didn't pay big massive wages for Carranza. And we're just taking gambles for the sake of it, Dan. It's like we panic at making decisions. Carranza's clearly not good enough.
Yeah.
He didn't get much of a chance. I do feel for him when he was here that he didn't get the opportunity.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
It's the same contingency spiral that the club keep making the same mistakes, Dan, with these loan signings and that. They're not good enough. It's like, where are we finding these players?
Well, yeah, again, as you say, the Carranza one was probably is a chance. Obviously JJ's worked out fine, and Ramsey, if he didn't keep pulling up with so many injuries, would have been fine. And that's a risk taking on that type of player. But unfortunately, that is where we are, where we do have to keep taking risks on certain individuals, because of what finances we have. Like I say again, we got lucky with JJ, but the other two haven't worked out. So
I honestly think Jordan James has carried Leicester City this season.
Oh yeah, well, like I say, you look at if he hadn't scored the goals that he scored for us, we'd be in a world of trouble. We'd be
bloody 21st, I think.
Yeah, quite easily.
Jordan James was a gem to find. Can bet my house we're not going to buy him. Lookman all over again. Yeah, I remember. See, that sort of clicked with me when we didn't sign Adamo Lookman that season.
Yeah.
You thought to yourself, something ain't right here.
Yeah.
And then Fofana left and brought in bloody Wout Fass. I don't know who's bloody looked at Wout Fass. I probably thought he had nice hair and thought he'd suit the time at the back.
It was a desperation buy with Fass, weren't it? Because Chelsea had left it so late for us, and Fofana doing what he'd done. You could say, we should have just got on with it and and sold him and got somebody else in, and had a plan in place. But again, like I say, we've said many a time, we're not a club with a plan in place anymore. We were just reactionary. It's shown that with the past 3 managers or 4 managers, you could say. When Brendan went, we didn't have a plan in place. We roped in Dean Smith, with no real thought about.
No manager wanted to come here, did they? At that point, even Jesse Marsh basically turned him down, and how poor he is as a manager,
Wow, I'm not too sure about that.
He basically said that he were close to coming because they asked him about it, and then he said that because he didn't have a plan for the championship. He said, I didn't want the job. He said the club didn't have a plan.
Yeah, but he also said the same thing when he allegedly turned down the Southampton job. Depends on who you listen to and what you read.
Manager anyway. I didn't want him anyway, mate.
No, and that's it. I think it was a bit of a similar situation with what's his name? Who was at Southampton, went to Rangers.
Oh, you're on about Russell Martin?
Russell Martin, yeah. We had a bit of a similar fan reaction with Jesse Marsh, where we made it quite clear that we didn't want him. And the board, I think, took that on board and said, no, thanks, but no thanks. And he's tried to save face by saying, oh, I turned them down. Well, you didn't. Hence why he's not been in a job since, because he's not glittered with job offers. Dan,
I want to ask you about one man, actually. And we spoke about this as fans yesterday. Chris Wilder.
Yeah.
Right. I know we say it in hindsight now that we should have took Chris Wilder. We're sort of eating our humble pie a bit here, where a lot of the fans were like, didn't want Chris Wilder. Dinosaur football.
Yeah.
What the hell are the club playing at? Blah, blah, blah. I'm not being funny. Chris Wilder is a manager who's got the Nigel Pearson in him, someone who's not going to mess about. He's going to make them run the yards, do everything they're being told to do, and if they don't do anything they're being told to do, then basically you're out the door. I don't want you playing for my team. He's a manager who will stand for what he believes in. He talks strongly. He's not scared to say what he thinks.
No.
And he's a strong-minded manager who's capable enough to get in success in the Championship. Obviously, he's had to take over from a Ruben Sellers type of Sheffield United side that fell apart and pick up that mentality again at the football club. Chris Wilder said he would have came to Leicester, but they obviously opted for Marti. I do think Wilder's a better manager than Marti, in my opinion. He's a better coach. He knows a lot more about the Championship and how to work the league. And I think he'd have been the better appointment. And I say this in hindsight now because but sometimes hindsight's a wonderful thing. Just not in the decisions we
exactly.
make. So, what's your thoughts on Chris Wilder? I know I talk about
he is somebody that I would have preferred to have had in.
Would you have appointed him, Dan?
Yeah, I would have appointed him. He would have been one of the top names up there for me because of what we needed at the time. But we went for a shock horror. We went for a style over substance, man. And there was a lot of fans up in arms.
Enzo will not come nowhere near Leicester. He won't touch him with a large ball. I'm sorry.
He's moved on.
He even called out the board at Leicester for transfers and that never happened.
Yeah.
So that says it all. And then he jumped ship as soon as Chelsea come calling.
Yeah. Like I say, we went for a style over substance, man, and that's not the position we were in. I kept hearing a lot of things about, what do we want a Brexit ball manager? What even is Brexit ball? I mean, come on.
It's basically low block football, isn't it?
But that's not how he plays.
It's counter-attacking football. It's long ball, basically. Sean Dyche ball, as we call it.
But again, that's all just.
They did get 9 points.
That's not a style of play. That's just made up names to make yourself sound intelligent. When you don't, you sound stupid.
He did say that, but when Wilder went to Borough and Watford, it didn't work out for him at those clubs. His players didn't suit his style. Our players are far too technical to suit Wilder's style.
No, they're not, are they? Because they're proving they're not technical. Because they can't control a football.
Can't even stick bloody Marti's bloody style of football.
And
every manager these days want to play the Pep Guardiola style of football, and that's obviously coming out dated now, isn't it? It's obviously coming out. There'll be a new style of football soon.
Well, even Pep doesn't really play that way anymore.
No, he's changed. Pep can change things, can't he? Because he's an experienced manager to know that he can change and adapt to different styles in how he wants that team to play. But he's got the players to do that. With our players, it's like they're incapable of even passing the ball to each other. You seen it yesterday when the ball kept going out to play. And then when we do get the ball, we pass the ball and we give it away. So we never play on the front foot in games unless a team doesn't get at us from the off. We bloody look comfortable on the ball, don't we? And then we're thinking when we play a better team, it's like, okay then, what have you got, Leicester? And it's just like, well, we know how this game's going to go.
Well, something else that we've said for weeks, and like what Imran was saying before he went. We're far too slow. We're too slow on the build-up.
It's better than our Boober, Samari, I'm telling you, that Sheffield United one.
How many times have we called out Jakob for holding on to the ball for too long and then just rolls it out to Yannick, who then just walks up the pitch?
They're so incapable to be told what to do.
Well, it's like they just don't want to do what they're asked to do because they think that they're better.
I'm not surprised. He were clapping the Sheffield United fans yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Before he came over to the Leicester fans, he were clapping Sheffield United fans.
Yeah,
Martin's done a poor job. This lot of players are worse. Klopp couldn't. Do you know what, Rag? I agree, man, mate. I honestly agree. We couldn't even have Pep Guardiola at Leicester, mate. He wouldn't even get the best out of this team, to be fair. We'd somehow find a seasonal thing there where it just fall apart in front of our eyes. We've just got players who are not who just don't want to run the yards, who just don't want to do what they're being asked to do. I mean, we've seen players run the yards this season, who have done it. Jordan James, we've seen Skip do it in a couple of games. Obviously, it wasn't his greatest game yesterday, but then you seen his interview after the game. It looked like he was going to bloody cry.
Well,
I do think that, and I say this every time about. It's always the same players who come out after every post-match. You either get Skip or Ricardo. Where are the others to chat? Like, don't keep bringing these other players on when we're winning games. I want to see what they've got to say for themselves after we lose. That's what I want to see.
Yeah,
they're They go hiding like, I don't want to talk to you. You know, I'm not up for that.
It's not that they go hiding, Jack. It's just they're incapable of doing it. There's only probably a few there that are able to string a sentence together. So, you know, we've seen it from a few of them. Like, again, even with Skip, he struggles in front of the camera. He's not a confident talker or anything like that.
You can see that.
Yeah.
Dan,
but at least he's got the guts to stand up and do it. That's the other thing.
Well, there we go. Dan, let's talk about what Marti had to say yesterday before we talk about League One bloody potentials and everything else that we want to discuss after this. There's been a lot of talk about some fans think we could actually go down this season, but there we go. Right, there is a certain things that I can share with the fans and some things I cannot. What I can say to the fans is that I'm sorry that we're in a difficult moment. Well, I won't say difficult moment. We've been in a lot of moments. We need to stick together. What's your thoughts about what he said there?
I think it's a whole lot of nothingness, really, if I'm being truthful. It's I'd almost go as far as it's just a little bit of a deflection away from him. He's heard his name being chanted for sacked in the morning and everything else like that. Yeah. He's just basically gone, ain't me.
Yeah.
No, I'm not allowed to tell you who it is, but it ain't me. You know,
that's basically what it is. When you're in school, Dan, and then you get, and then somebody else gets the blame in, and then he always says, "Yeah, but it ain't me. It were him.
It were him."
Yeah, come on, Marti. Marti. You tell us exactly how you feel, man, mate. Come on.
But at the end of the day,
tell us exactly who it is and what's happening here. Don't go in it. Come and tell us exactly how you feel as fans.
That's it.
Exactly. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear exactly what's happening.
Yeah,
we want to know
what the steps are. Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's going to get sacked for it, is he?
Well, you're not the club be like. They'll sack him. They'll sack him. You know, as soon as he starts speaking truth, Nigel Pearson used to do it, didn't he? He used to speak a lot of truth about certain aspects, and then he was getting himself in a bit of bother with the media.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's
Marti ain't got the Nigel Pearson streak in him, I'm afraid. Skip was being marked in the game yesterday. They didn't want him on the ball, and to be honest, Sheffield United won everything. But that's because the players are incapable to fight.
Yeah.
To show that desire, that commitment, that passion in a game. We've not got that. We've not got the squad, have we, Dan? Let's be honest.
No. We are. Yeah, like you say, we as much as Marti was saying at the beginning of the season that we're a very bloated squad, and when you look at the numbers, we are. But then if you actually look at the numbers and look at the quality of those numbers, it's very low. You know, again,
there's no improvement. There's no improvement in this team at all.
There's no.
Someone put it up yesterday about where is it? Another lackluster. Let's start watching 11 Strangers. No game, no plan, no structure, no purpose. We don't even look fit. Players making the most basic errors, managed by a League One manager, which I fear is where we could be headed.
Well, that's it. I mean, there's the potential. Like as I've said to you a few times today, and you've tried to pull me out on it, you and Steve, but we won't go down. There are.
Come on, Dan. Let's settle the score. You basically said to me,
we won't go down. There are more than three worse teams.
Right, come on. No, don't go three. Right, come on. Name all them teams that you think's worse than us. And obviously Sheffield Wednesday's going to be on there, but I don't think they look really worse than us this season, even though they're at the bottom.
Well, that's it. Well,
we're in relegation form. That's very much where we are. Relegation form. We're taking slappings, Dan.
Yeah, we are currently, but so are other teams. Like I say,
Portsmouth, who lost 5-0 yesterday to Bristol City, right? They got a point at the King Power.
Yeah,
Charlton, obviously we beat. Oxford.
Yeah. Okay, well, turn it around then. It doesn't matter what sides have got against us. It's what they get against every other side in the league. We took points off Coventry. We beat Ipswich, who are the top two.
Yeah, but you're stating that there's 4 worse teams in this league than we are.
That's correct. Charlton are worse than us. Portsmouth are worse than us. Derby are worse than us. Norwich are worse than us.
Derby are ahead of us, by the way.
They are for now, but they weren't.
No, I don't even think we'll get over them at this point.
Well, but they said the same to us not 3 days ago. So, you know.
You know what Derby will come back to say to us, don't you? At least we can beat Sheffield United at home. They beat them 3-1. We lost 3-1.
They dropped 6 points against us, if that's the argument. It's irrelevant. But all I'm saying is those sides, plus a few others, are worse than us. There are.
And Mikel Antonio, I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm not sure.
Hey, who knows? I mean, we seem to be dragging our heels about it, for whatever reason it may be.
Do you think it's a wage thing or just we can't afford to? Because there's obviously...
I would say it's more to do with the contract of the length of it or how it's done. As it's like what we said.
You don't come close to the PSR line again, do you?
No, I don't think it's anything to do with that at all. I don't think.
Bloody hope not.
I think it's more down to the length of contract and what we're prepared to do and what he's prepared to take. I think that we've probably offered him something like a 6-month or a pay-as-you-play contract, and he's gone, no, I don't want that, and I want 18 months, say, or a year, something like that, and which is for us is a big risk to take on somebody who had the injuries that he had from the unfortunate accident. It's nothing against him, and I would like to hope that the club are doing the right things with it. If it turns out and we've done like what we have done in the past and give him a 3-year deal on, even on 50 grand a week, would be absolutely stupid. I mean, he's not the youngest either. What is he now, 33 or something like that? 33, 34?
34.
Don't get me wrong, he'll be a good player for us, and he offers us something different if he can do it. If you hear what is said, he's good in training and he works hard and all the rest of it, which we've heard before. But doing these things,
my thinking is, Dan, that if we get a big deduction here, which could potentially happen. There's no logic to what it is. Obviously, they've still not let us know what's exactly happening at the club at the minute regarding
I don't actually think they do know. I know there's a lot of people
with some of the cryptic bloody things that Marti said yesterday. It's he knows what's going to happen in January. And
no, I don't think he does. I think that's more to do with stuff that's happening within the club, off field, but within the club, as in.
Well, we ain't going to get a new technical director in this month, are we?
No, that's it.
But do you think, right? Would you say that if say Leicester get 12 points, right, that puts in the relegation zone? Do you think we've got a squad of fighters to keep us up? Because I don't think we'd be up enough for a scrap in the relegation battle. I don't think we'll with these players.
No, but I don't think it'd be a scrap, to be honest. We'll pick up points, but not through scrapping and things like that. We'll still continue to do what we've done now, and we're very sporadic in where we get our points from anyway.
Mikel Antonio is 35 years old. He's 36 in March.
Yeah. So there you go. So as I say, and I think that is what is holding it up more than anything is sorting out a contract.
Were Harry Shooter on the bench yesterday? Harry Shooter, were he on the bench yesterday?
No. He might have been in the ground on the bench, but he wasn't part of the squad. No, it was Vestergaard and Akoli were our. Aluko, even sorry, not Akoli. Aluko were our.
It would have been Vestergaard.
I was more surprised with Daka being back in the squad. after being away in AFCON and that.
We're talking about strikers. We've not filled the void of Jamie Vardy.
No, and we never will. We need to get over that. We never will as a club.
I don't think it's that, Dan. What the problem is with fans is, we're not saying we're going to get the next Jamie Vardy. What the problem is, it's criminal that we haven't planned without him. We haven't looked at other strikers who can come in to replace him, basically.
Yeah.
You basically kept with the same players of Daka, Jordan Ayew's got the number 9 shirt, which I wouldn't have gave him. And then they brought in Carranza, who wasn't good enough. So you're relying on, well, we've got 2 strikers at the club now, haven't we? Daka, who was he on the bench yesterday, Daka?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
He was, yeah. So he's back. He is back again.
I was surprised that. Yeah. No, we haven't. Like I say again, even with Daka, we've had him for 5 years now, and I can't believe we've not moved him on when we know he's not up to it.
This is decision making by the club.
Yeah, exactly. And again, he's on high wages and everything else like that, so it's not easy to get rid of these players when it's come for them. But at the same time, we need to. This is the job of a director of football and the surrounding staff to get these players moved on.
If you can call them that.
Yeah.
If you call him that role, Dan, I don't know. Yeah, I know he's been moved upstairs. Should we? That was just to take the pressure off him with the supporters and that. I'll be honest, that again is how they've done it. And obviously, he's still the director of football. He's not gone anywhere like some people have suspected he had when the news came out. They've just moved him upstairs, and it's basically to get somebody else to take the blame. What I will say is, where is it? This one. I would say this is probably the most disjointed squad I've seen. I mean, people talk about Craig Levine, Ian Holloway's teams and all that. Is this the worst Leicester City side you've seen?
I would say it's most definitely up there, without a doubt. It's the worst Leicester City side I've seen.
Fans, get your comments in on this as well. Is this the worst side you've seen with the fight and everything?
But yeah, like I say,
I agree, Craig.
The Holloway team was very low on quality, but they tried their best. The Levine side, that was again a similar thing with Marti. Was more down to him and his capabilities as a manager. Yeah. It wasn't the fact that the players that we had weren't good enough, because there was some half decent players in there. It was, like I say, it was more his ability to manage those players. A little bit like Peter Taylor as well. He had exactly. There you go. He had a good side, but
a good side, and made us worse.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of them. So, like I say, it is up to a manager to get the best out of the squad of players that he's got. And again, even this side, this talent, there's no doubt in that. There's ability in it. Again, there's no doubt in that. But unfortunately, we don't have a guy who's running the show who's equipped to deal with them. So we do.
There's ability in this squad if they actually have screwed the Reds on, not Reds together, and stop pissing about. And
that's it.
We're doing what they think what they need to be doing, and you can't tell me with that mentality. As soon as you knock that mentality out of them, and do what Enzo did with them, then they'll start playing, but they won't.
Yeah, unfortunately, we let a few drips in the squad run the place.
Well, I signed him for 15 years.
And
it's all drip for drab with Leicester. It's like last time I say it's a wet blanket. It just never dries out because the same thing happens again and again. It's like a repeated cycle.
Well, like I say, we don't get rid of people that cause us a problem.
No, we've kept them.
Yeah, and sometimes even giving them extended contracts.
Well,
Mr. Vestergaard.
I mean, who gave Luke Thomas a 4-year contract?
Yeah, but I wouldn't put Luke Thomas down as being a bad apple in the dressing room. I don't believe he's got.
I'm not saying that.
He's a poor quality player.
He's just not good enough.
Yeah, but what we have done is we've like I say, we've rewarded people like Vestergaard who's caused problems and Winks who's caused problems and not got rid of them. We've allowed them to be in the dressing room and still continue to cause problems. And
I agree.
Players like Wout Fass, we've not got rid of them. We've not pulled them to one side and gone, you're going. Wherever you're going.
The agents play a massive part and all, though, don't they, in different things in players' careers and that, where they rile up the media and all that, and then start talking to the media, and the media put different things out, and it's just one big mess that going forward doesn't look like it's going to be sorted anytime soon.
No, but as fans, we're a bit too impatient to wait for things like that as well. So,
I tell you what, Dan, I think how many years it's been going on for, I think time's really up with them type of things. I think impatience has grown, and you can be patient for a little bit if you think things are going to get better, but because they haven't improved at all.
No,
I sort of get it. I would set this aside up around JJ. He's the best player we have. Well, Craig.
Yeah,
I agree.
You won't get many people who disagree with that. But unfortunately, he's not our player yet. Whether he will be or not.
This is it.
This is the other thing. Is like what we're saying with what Marti was alluding to earlier about the stuff that he can and can't say. People have said we're sailing close to the wind with PSR again. Well, Rob Dorset reported that we were well clear of PSR back in the summer, so there's not an issue. So what is it to be? Is it a case of he can't say too much now because, like what we know, Winks has been cut adrift. We're led to believe that he's going somewhere else. Fass has now been cut adrift.
Yeah.
Whether he's going so these are players that could be being moved out the door finally and getting a bit of money in for us to use, and maybe Marti is being given a bit of a reprieve by the club, whether he deserves it or not, because he should be doing better, for being able to actually get players in. And that's what he's alluding to. He's like, I can't say too much now in case these things fall through, and then he looks even more stupid than what he can do at times when he keeps rinse and repeating what he says. Who knows? But as what was said earlier by Imran, the main thing that we need to focus on now is making sure that we don't go down, and whether that's with Marti at the helm or not, regardless, I wouldn't like to see someone like Andy King take the job to see us through to the end of the season, because I think that's unfair on him, But it may well end up coming to that.
West Brom next.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Who are in just as bad a situation as we are.
They've lost 9 on the bounce away from home. So, Dr. Leicester's waiting for you, West Brom, to prescribe you your medicine. So, what can't go wrong with that one? I don't know. But Dan, thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate it always. Everyone, hit the like button if you want to discuss any more in the comments of if you let us know what you think to everything we've said. I think we've covered everything. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Go check out the Matchday blog on the channel as well. I berated Sheffield United yesterday. I've not calmed down. I'm still depressed. I'm still pissed off. But hey ho, that's life being a Leicester City fan this season. But no, thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. We'll catch you again soon.